Now, in this video today, I want to talk about how Raila has betrayed his supporters now and then. First of all, if this is the first time you're watching our videos, kindly make sure that you subscribe, like, and comment because that's the best support that you can always give us. Now, let me dive in direct to how Raila has betrayed his supporters. Let me take you back to 2017, which is a very near period that you can easily tell what transpired at that particular time. Now, this was it. Raila claimed that elections were stolen because after the announcement, Uhuru was declared as the winner and Raila claimed that there was rigging of elections. He filed a petition in the Supreme Court, in the Kenyan Supreme Court, and the results were out where the elections were nullified by then Justice David Kenani Maraga. Now, after the nullification of the elections, the event that followed was that the IBC announced fresh elections where Raila asked his supporters and himself also boycotted successfully. At least 90% of Kenyans did not vote, did not turn out to go and vote, especially in his strongholds. This was a clear sign that Raila had great and huge support from his followers, and also they had a lot of hope that Raila could have been a transformer person, the person to change this country to a better Kenya, and that is why they gave him that support, particularly listening to what he was saying. This has been happening now and then because, of course, everyone else who supported Raila had a lot of hopes in him. But now, according to my analysis, I've come to realize that Raila has been using his supporters to gain. How did he gain? After the nullifications of elections, Kenyans were surprised in 2018 March where Raila was in a handshake with His Excellency President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Now, in the election, the handshake was a surprise to all Kenyans because most of the Kenyans were calling for a division of Kenya and we subdivide Kenya into the Democratic Republic of Kenya and, of course, the Central Republic, the Central Kenya, something of that kind. Now, after the handshake, people expected that things could have gotten better. It was a chance for Raila and Uhuru to work together to make this country a better place. But what did we get from there? There was a hike in the prices of essential commodities in the country. The price of unga, which was one of the most icons in the 2022 elections, it went high to a tune of even 250 plus. That was during the handshake of Raila and Uhuru. During this time, we also had a problem when it comes to some scarcity of some commodities like fuel at that time. There were some lies that used to come from the government. There's unga worth 100 shillings, which was not seen by Kenyans. After the handshake, most of the products' prices did not come down. This was one of the huge betrayal actions that Raila portrayed during at that time. What his supporters were fighting for, it was not achieved despite the handshake, despite the environment that Raila was given to achieve some of the supporters' grievances. Now, another thing that Raila did to show betrayal is that when Kenyans were boycotting the elections, Raila told them that the same IBC that rigged the elections for Kenyatta could not have been the one to also handle credible elections with the credible repeat elections in 2017. Now, what am I trying to say here? The Kenyans who supported Raila felt like that time, after the nullification, was to become an end of the rigging of elections in the country. But after the handshake, there was nothing significant that Raila did to ensure that there's no rigging of elections because he had the same claims in 2022. Now, how did Raila benefit at this time? Raila was given state power. Wherever he went, he was accorded good respect, whether abroad, whether within. He was still respected as one of the statesmen. Now, his supporters were given the security that was withdrawn from the allies. Those are the politicians that were close to Raila, who were working with Raila, were also given the security that was withdrawn from them. And we saw the respect that they were accorded within the country whenever they traveled. In short, Raila got state power. Apart from that, Raila got the financing for the BBI, which he went around the country to brand himself a new person, a new Raila. He branded himself beginning from 2018 with the BBI all the way up to now, 2022. Raila gained politically. The politicians around him got the security they needed. He himself got this respect that he wanted. But the Kenyans who supported him did not have anything to smile about. One of them, the cost of unga, or generally the cost of living, did not come down. The electoral justice that Kenyans were fighting for in 2017 by boycotting elections and even asking Kenya to be divided was not achieved as well. That is the first instance of Raila's betrayal. He did not stop there. In 2022 elections, Raila again betrayed his supporters. Kindly make sure that you subscribe before you go to the second part. Make sure like and always comment on some of the videos that you hear. Your opinion matters on the comment section. Now, let me proceed to the next part. In 2022, Raila raised the same concern that Kenyans, hey Kenyans, here the elections have been rigged once again, saying there were servers all over the world which were used to rig the elections, the 2022 presidential elections, where William Ruto was announced by the same IEBC that he was the presidential candidate. Now, how did Raila betray his supporters? First of all, we realized that after the elections were announced, Raila, of course, went and said the same things he said in 2017, that elections were rigged and he don't accept these results. Now, in 2022, once again, Raila betrayed his supporters. What did he do this time around? Now, as usual, in 2022, once again, Raila said that the election results that were announced by Chebukati himself, who is the chairman of IEBC, were rigged, where he said that the elections were rigged through some servers, which were some in Holland and other countries, of course, within the world. Now, these are the same claims Raila made in 2017. And now, we want to look at how he betrayed Kenyans in 2022 up to now. These are the same claims that Raila made in 2017. Now, how did Raila betray his Kenyans this time around? Now, look at this here. After the ring of elections, he filed a petition in court where the court supported the elections, where the court ruled that the elections were free and fair. Many other international bodies say that the Kenyan elections were free and fair. Now, Raila did not support the court decision, but he respected the decision because that was constitutional right. Tick for him. Now, let's go where he betrayed the Kenyans. Now, Raila asked Kenyans to go to the streets and demonstrate over the cost of living, rigging of elections, and many other problems that Kenyans were facing. I want to particularly talk about the cost of living, which was the major problem that the Kenyans were experiencing. At that time, the cost of unga was almost 270 plus. The cost of sugar, can't say it here, but everything was, the prices of every commodity had risen significantly. The cost of fuel, the cost of sugar, the cost of everything had gone up significantly. Now, Kenyans demonstrated not once, not twice, but you said even weekly that it happens. Kisii, where I come from, was the leading in at least 2 of the occasions that we had demonstrations in the country. Now, how did Raila betray the Kenyans? Raila was asked by some of the leaders like Obasanjo from Nigeria to have talks with William Ruto. He did not openly have talks with President William Ruto, but there were allegations that they met in Mombasa and had a discussion and even had a handshake, which Raila denied and many other people around him. Later on, we came to realize that Raila and Ruto decided to have a bipartisan committee that's going to hold bipartisan talks, which were held and issues discussed. First betrayal came in where, despite the problem, the kind of cost of living that Kenyans were experiencing, it was not addressed from the bipartisan talks. How was it bipartisan if they could not agree or even discuss on the issue of the cost of living, which was the basic thing that Kenyans were experiencing and even up to now experiencing in most of the commodities? That was the first betrayal. Raila did not push for that to be the first priority in the bipartisan talks. As if that was not enough, another thing emerged. Of course, there were allegations that Raila and Ruto are in a handshake, but Raila kept on refusing. Ruto did not talk about it. But later on, there was a seat that is vacant, that's going to be vacant in the AU. That is the African Union. There's a seat of the High Commissioner to the African Union. That is now the chair of the AU Commission. And Raila was proposed by Obasanjo, who was also the same person who was mediating Raila and Ruto just after the demonstrations in the country. The same Obasanjo appeared in the press conference where Raila declared that he's going to vie for that seat, the chair of the AU Commission. Now, that is a betrayal of the highest order. Why? Raila got into a deal with William Ruto to be supported to go for the AU seat. But the common mwananchi who was in the demonstrations did not have the cost of living being sorted, did not have anything being discussed about him. That was a great betrayal because Kenyans during demonstration, they died. In Kisii here, we buried a number of people who died because of the demonstration. Some were shot, particularly in Maseno, where a young man, a youth, was shot because of participating in the demonstrations. He was home here, was in Kisii, my neighbor, and he was buried. You know, that means what that young man was fighting for, the cost of living to come down, not even the election issues, because the election issues had become very common. Now the cost of living to come down. That aspect was not handled despite his death. But Raila's aspect of becoming AU chair is now being pushed by the entire government. Very, very many friends of Ruto across the country, across the continent, are supporting his bid for the AU chair. Now, this is what we call the betrayal of the highest order. You do something to benefit. Coming to 2018 after the handshake, Raila got state power. He got supported by Uhuru Kenyatta, most of the things. Some projects were launched in some of his backyard. Most things were done to him, but the supporters who supported him did not benefit as such because we had the similar problems of the high cost of living being experienced. In 2022, again, the same things happened where the cost of living is high, but Raila is not talking about it now. He is heading to the AU chair where he's going to become is likely to become the AU chair. That is my take there and there. If you feel this video was motivating to you, and at least if this video if you have an idea or maybe some comment. Now, that is my video there and there. Make sure that you like and comment on the comment section if there's anything that you want to add about this kind of a topic today. See you next time. Make sure that you keep subscribing and also liking, because we do the analysis that you've never seen anywhere else on this channel. My name is Abel Mkwa. Thank you so much. See you next time.